2002 film Frida represents her story as a woman on a love venture who creates art in the midst of her turmoil. However, to the contrary, Frida's life was a story of resilience, redemption, recovery, whilst carrying culture, politics and heritage at the heart of creation. Frida Kahlo was an incredible Mexican painter. She's best known for her self-portraits, which many describe as surrealist depictions. But where surrealism is a combination of the avant-garde and the unconscious mind, Frida unmistakably pronounced that she never painted dreams, only her reality. And her reality was, in fact, that she was disabled by polio in her youth and at 18 was involved in a near-fatal bus accident. But Kahlo's pain became her power and her art became her virtue. Magdalena Carmen Frida Kahlo y Cadrón was born in a village on the outskirts of Mexico City. Birthed in La Casa Azul, which was later to be a house of creation and a landmark homage. Kahlo was able to associate feelings from a younger age as she came from a broken home with harsh family tension. In 1925, a tragic bus accident left Frida without the use of her legs for 3 months. She was confined to her bed. An overhead mirror appeared over her, leaving only a vision of herself. Her tailored easel meant that she was able to create work, and her earliest pieces documented sceneries in watercolour. She then began to document her accident and paint herself in a variety of aliases. Through a common commitment to the Mexican Communist Party, Frida Kahlo met and married her husband, artist Diego Rivera. Frida and Diego's relationship was turbulent. Kahlo documented the adoration, demise, loss, and distrust of their sacrament. Her work illustrated the physical and emotional pain she was suffering being with or without Diego, whether featuring her frail body, her comatose heart, or fluid infidelity. Through her work, Frida reminds us that we are multifaceted beings. She challenged the balance between divine feminine energy, gender, and other social constructs. She continuously used motifs of flowers and nature symbolic of growth, introspection, endurance, and transformation. She often celebrated her native folk culture. She was true to her beginnings. Her style, boldness, and integrity has left influence to many. Frida Kahlo visually archived the relatable experience. She began to write in her diary a testimony to her feelings and emotions, which is now seen as pure and transparent poetry. Her diary leaves behind a trace of her affinity to revolutionary ideology and her commitment to communism. It's important that we remember that Frida Kahlo was much more than a painter of love and the deterioration of devotion. Though her pain was debilitating, she, herself, was revolutionary. Frida Kahlo's work exhibits incredibly painful imagery, though the soul of her work differs. Self-portraiture has always been a fascinating representation in art history. Frida Kahlo changed this history, as she represents realism, honesty, an altering background with an unchanging face. She affirms through her portrait's mere existence that all we have in this life to lean on, to grow, to uncomfortably and sometimes painfully change, is truly ourselves. Okay, so this is the response today, and of course it's a self-portrait. So I decided to use a very rough sketch so I can complete this within an hour, because that's the task that I'm setting myself with these responses. So unless you're circulated by mirrors 24 hours a day, it's clear that it is very rare that we know exactly what we truly look like. And it's known that others have a more realistic perception of us than we do. So this is why self-portraiture has been really interesting in art history, particularly for the artist, because through painting yourself, you get to know yourself better, whether that's physically or internally, emotionally. And as you guys can see, Frida Kahlo plays with that balance quite cleverly. So this is the task this week, you guys, to create a self-portrait. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be in the same mediums that the artists use. You can create a continuous line drawing, you can use whatever resources you have, and it doesn't necessarily have to be realistic or semi-realistic. It's completely up to you. This is what a response is about. So what do you guys think about Frida Kahlo's life? An artist that was in immense pain throughout her entire life, but created along with it, used it as her power. Do you think art can be used as therapy? Do you create art for therapy? I'd love to know your comments down below. Until next week.